Right, chat. It's time for more reaction content. It is now light tank roles have been announced. Okay? Let's go and see.
Light tanks will get an important revamp in Update 2.4. A new role system.
This has been needed for so long. Like, so long. Like, ages.
Changes to lots of vehicles' characteristics. Reworked matchmaking. And a whole host of other improvements will underscore the gameplay of different light tanks and make battles more balanced. Heavy tanks, medium tanks, and tank destroyers in the game are all divided into several roles.
Yes.
But light tanks, apart from wheeled ones, only had one role, versatile.
Yeah.
That was despite them differing significantly from one another in terms of capabilities and playstyle.
I mean, why is that even still a thing?
To highlight their variety and help the matchmaker avoid pitting light tanks designed for different combat tasks against each other, we're introducing 3 separate roles for them starting from Tier 6.
It's actually quite important that it starts from like a tier where you don't just have light tanks everywhere. Because like if you've done it from tier 5 onwards, say for example, like there are tier 5s which are just all over the place. I mean, maybe you could do it, but there's some light tanks which are more medium tanks, and just lots of the low tier are just light tanks. There's no like divide regarding medium tanks, heavy tanks, etc. Apart from maybe tank destroyers at lower tiers.
The scout role will go to vehicles better adapted to passively spotting opponents through their concealment and view range, as well as those that scout actively thanks to a low profile and high maneuverability. Support light tanks will include vehicles that use their mobility to quickly move across the map, provide assistance on different routes, and deal damage at the right time. Versatile lights will be ones that can do a little bit of everything: spotting, supporting allies with damage, or finishing off opponents with low HP.
Yep.
Such a substantial overhaul of light tanks' roles called for targeted tweaks to the characteristics of a lot of lights, starting from Tier 6. The majority of vehicles have only received improvements.
I mean, let's be honest. This is basically just a medium tank now. This has 1900 hit points. 1900 hit points for a light tank. And it goes, like, rapid. The view range has been buffed as well. Like, this is just a medium tank with, like, a decent scouting capability. Which honestly brings up the thing about why would I, you know, like, medium tank versus light tank thing. But I think that this is starting to become less and less.
While others were nerfed in some areas and buffed in others.
Okay, right, chat. Okay, lots of people have been saying about this, about the HE nerf and the gun reload time nerf and everything else being nerfed on the RHM. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it actually really matters that much. I know you listen. Reddit is going to very much hate me because Reddit is all over this saying that this is a bad change. But I actually think that it falls in line with the other tanks that it's meant to be playing against. But yes, this is worse than it was before. But I think that it actually plays with the other tank. I think like you get Sheridan. Do you get the Sheridan as the other one? Or is that whatever it is, the WZ? It's a WZ and the AMX, I think it is. WZ and the AMX, I believe, are the other two, the light tanks that go against the RHM. The WZ is getting buffed to like gun depression. I don't know if it's getting anything else. But it actually falls within like the characteristics of it. The gun has like similar kind of DPM. It actually has a bit better still. It has better pen. Like this is actually falling and making it more in line with the rest of the tanks. So I don't think that it's actually going to matter that much. But it is worse, and it'll probably shake up Onslaught as well, because I think more people will probably choose a tier 100 now as well.
Field modification will also correspond better to each role. Scouts will get its previous iteration with updated permanent bonuses. For other roles, besides permanent bonuses, dual modifications will change at tiers 7 and 8.
Yeah.
This will help bring out the strengths of
So the whole thing of this is that this was always the same, apart from for wheeled light tanks. And This is now going to be, especially for Sheridan, I believe it is, and that one where it's either support or something like that. You can actually pick between doing damage and dealing damage, which is kind of insane. Like you can then just choose to play however you want to play. It also then makes it a little bit more hard or a little bit harder for when you come up against someone on, say, Prokhorovka, and you have a damage dealing build, but they have a spotting build. So we'll have to see how that goes. But it looks okay.
Vehicle even further. Previously installed modifications.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This one here.
That are affected by the change.
So this one, you get more hit points and deal get internal module durability, but at the cost of concealment. So then you would have more concealment, but you would have less hit points. I think that most of the time you just choose concealment. I don't think that it's worth choosing this side. But again, once this actually comes out and we play them, then we'll maybe decide.
Will be automatically reset with full compensation in credits.
Okay, that's good.
We've also increased the level of detail on damage received models for several light tanks. Improved the...
Have they changed the EBR wheels? Can I finally go through an EBR wheel? Please. Please. Just make it count as a hitbox and make it take damage when you hit the wheel. That's fine.
Handling of a number of other vehicles. And, in certain cases, adjusted concealment parameters to reflect their actual dimensions. Even so, each light tank will still enjoy variety in its gameplay. Scouts will still be able to cause damage, and support tanks will still be able to spot. And of course, the new role system will affect how the Matchmaker works. After the update's release, the Matchmaker will start considering the new categories of light tanks.
This is the most important change. Besides all the other stuff, this is the most important, like 100% the most important thing. And if this messes up, it can ruin a game entirely. Because currently what happens is, you get Prokhorovka, you have an RHM against a Manticore. The Manticore is going to win. It doesn't matter. It's always going to win. Because it's just a better light tank. And so this shouldn't happen anymore.
And aim to balance them by role on both teams. In addition, starting from Tier 7, there will now be no more than 2 light tanks in a single team. Wheeled tanks have been assigned the Scout role, together with tracked ones, but they will still be only matched against other wheeled tanks.
Yeah, that's good.
The exception is the VCS 6x6. It's classed as a versatile light tank due to its hefty dimensions and lower mobility, which set it apart from other wheeled vehicles.
I agree with this. This is not a wheeled tank. This does not play like a wheeled light tank. It is not anywhere close to being so. It's also massive. This being matched up against an EBR 90 is useless. Completely useless. So yeah, VCS, I agree with this.
All these changes will make teams more balanced, but at the same time, you'll still have the freedom to choose your tactics. And it will be easier to unlock each vehicle's full potential. If you haven't battled in over 60 days, just log in and grab a...
This is true. You can get the comeback, and you can use my code as well. If you would like to come and use the code, everything will be linked. I want to read the article now. They will have dedicated roles, role-based matchmaking, wheeled vehicles apart from the VCS 6x6, and that goes into versatile, and then team composition. So all of this, I want to see now the actual changes. So Borken. Borken is getting nerfed. I don't really know why the Borken's getting nerfed, but it is. Again, I'm not sure. I mean, some of it's getting buffed, like regarding dispersion, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I tell you what, I say nerfed. The thing is, it's getting the reload time changed, but then the alpha damage is increasing. I see this as like a nothing burger kind of thing. I don't see why this was changed. Yes, HE Mega nerfed. It's still 80. I'm gonna be honest, 80 pen is more than enough to deal with most of the other light tanks you meet. Like, when you meet one of these, can you pen it? Can you still pen a Borken? You can still HE this. Like, you're still going to be HEing another Borken. But I don't think that light tank should have 120 pen. I think medium tank should have 120 pen, but I don't think light tank should have a stupidly high pen. Now, this is a little bit weird because the German lights in general had higher pen than usual. And you have tanks such as the Hawk 30, which have 105 or something like that, which are then better than this. But I don't think that 80 pen is a bad thing. I think that this just makes it so that it's a little bit more well-rounded for other stuff that you meet. You're not going to be starting to HE pen the size of medium tanks. And considering that you're getting an alpha damage increase as well, I don't know about, is the HE pen, HE damage also increasing? HE damage isn't increasing. So that means that you're still going to have 430, which is... Wait. Which actually raises the point, why would you fire HE? You're getting 40 more damage for using HE, which is not a lot. So the HE nerf really doesn't matter, because unless you know you're going to be, like, even then, like, guaranteeing the damage, it's like, you just fire normal rounds. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I am okay with this, but it might be that later on, it's no good. You know, it might be that once I actually play the tank, then it's actually useless. I don't know. WZ. So this got buffed. The traverse... 45! Mate, this tank does not need a traverse nerf. Why has it gone down 15 degrees? It cannot spin, chat. Spinning not happening on this vehicle. It's going down in our rankings. So you won't flip. Okay, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that's a pretty good point. Side armor got increased to 30 millimeters of armor. That's good, chat. No? Yeah. Anyway, gun depression is the main one. That goes to 6 degrees now. Not really that useful in grand scheme of things, for light tanks anyway. View range to 410. You are now going to have more view range than the RHM. Because RHM, if we look, the RHM, I thought the RHM was meant to have thingy, a view range enough as well. It's not. That's the wrong RHM. This has 410 still. So it has the same view range as the RHM now. But this is what I was saying about making it fall more in line with different things. So durability-wise, this is how... I don't know why it has less durability. I mean, I suppose because it has armor. But this, and this. So these three, I believe, are the ones that get matched up against each other. But I think it will be okay regarding how each one of these three works. I think that what we're looking at now is just, they've changed the stats, therefore I don't know what to do. But then when you get into the game, it'll probably be fine. I think that's one of the things that we're looking at here. Like, this is the thing. Like, nobody knows how it will be until you've played a few games in each one and played against each other and each other light tanks, and then you'll know what it feels like. Because just by looking at the stats and then having an overreaction to everything is not going to be good. Tessac. I mean, Tessac's just getting buffed to being a medium. The Tessac's a medium tank now. Let's be honest. This is now a medium vehicle. EBR. EBR is actually getting buffed because, yeah, you needed that. I don't know why this is getting buffed. You see this thing being 340 to 350 view range as well? This is actually incredibly important because what this allows you to do is no longer need a directive for bond optics, and you can now just go low noise CVS and optics being bond optics, and you'll have over the 445 meters detection range. I don't know why this has been touched, but at the same time I do know why this has been touched, because it sort of separates between the people that play this tank free to play with standard equipment, peasants. Okay, it separates the peasants from the people that use bond equipment, because it's impossible to get 445 meters with low noise exhaust, CVS and optics if you're not using bond equipment currently with a directive. I don't know if this is actually a good thing or not. I don't know. Sheridan buffs are quite a lot, and also the T100 LT has basically been transformed into a mini Manticore. I'm not joking. You can make it have basically the same stats as a Manticore now, nearly. I think it's like 1.5% camo rating that it has less than a Manticore with basically the same view range. And then that got moved into, or this T100 is a spotting role, so it would face a Manticore. A lot of these changes are just reworking them so they're kind of in line with each other that they're going to face. I mean, I would go through all of these, but there's 5 pages of them. If you really want to, I'll leave a link for it. The changes that are happening to this have been a long time coming, especially the matchmaking changes. Some of the buffs and nerfs, I don't know how I feel about them, but time will tell with that. But on the whole, I'm pretty happy with the changes that are happening to light tanks. And it's something that I've been wanting to happen for a long time. All that we need now is to remove CVS from medium tanks, and we'll probably have the golden age of light tanks. Probably. I don't know, because I think that medium tanks are still such an annoying feature to a light tank, and it deters from a light tank so much that medium tanks can run CVS and go low noise and be nearly as sneaky as a light tank in a bush, that it really subtracts from the light tank experience. And I think that light tanks need to be buffed in a way that they are so much better than medium tanks for scouting, which is what their whole role is meant to be. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see if anything like that happens, but probably won't. But this is at least a good step in the right direction. So, yesterday we had the changes to the light tanks, which I've already been through. There's even light tank roles in here, so we're going to be speaking through. These are going to be kind of combined together, almost. I was going to do all these like separately, but I think that it actually makes sense to put them all into one. So, changes to the Matchmaker are ready to deploy. Light tank roles are going to be changed. So there's going to be obviously scout, there'll be versatile and support. It says universal, but I mean, I thought that it was called versatile in the thing. Anyway, this is just going to mean that Manticore will not get matched up against a Tessak, for example, on Prokhorovka or stuff like that. What can still happen though, and because it's limited to 2 per team for the light tank, you could still end up with that scenario because you could get, say, Sheridan versus whatever else it would get matched up against. Tessak. So Sheridan versus Tessak, and then you could have Manticore versus T100, but then your T100 dies, and then you are alone in a Tessak against a Manticore and also a Sheridan. So it could still happen that occurs, but it won't be like you are going in and you're the only light tank and you get matched up against a Manticore in your Tessak. It can't happen like that anymore. Wheeled light tanks still get matched up against wheeled light tanks though, apart from certain stuff which I've already gone through. I mean, what is this? The infographic below is an example of the affected changes. It shows in green the chance of the Manticore being matched up against another Manticore before update 2.0, about 50%, versus the chance of the Manticore being matched up against a light tank of the same tier and role after the update 2.0. Well over 2.4, sorry. Well over 90%. For all maps, also separately for Malinovka and Prokhorovka. Typical open, yeah, where it increases it. So this is basically just saying like Manticore versus Manticore is more likely from what I can tell. And there will be times where it doesn't happen because the matchmaker can still not find something. But that's very, very rare. Like this bit of red here is really, really rare. No more than 2 light tanks per team. This is pretty self-explanatory. This should have been a thing a long time ago. I mean, it was limited down to 3 and then it got limited down to 2 now. But beforehand, you could have like 5 light tanks per team and it was just stupid. Like it was absolutely pathetic. You just never need more than 2 light tanks in a team because it ruins then the composition of everything else. For me personally, I'd rather see 1 SPG per team as well rather than 2. So like 2 light tanks, 1 SPG, and the rest can just be whatever you want. Five tank destroyers are the maximum anyway, so you can have the rest of them being whatever. Next round of update testing in 2.4. So there's going to be testing in this. This is not necessarily going to be actually in update from the sounds of that because it says testing. One of the first new features made possible by upgraded core tech or tech core is an improved matchmaking or match selection system. Honestly, can we please just have this in the game now? Just like forever. Like, I know this is going to be in testing. This is my biggest issue with World of Tanks currently, is the fact that I can play a map and in 3 games later, I'm then playing the same map. There's like 45 maps in the game. If I then go and remove the low tier ones, that's like 2 of them or whatever it is, mines and province, and then I do my map ban, so that's another 3. Even then, let's say that I got a load of bans or I'm in a tier or whatever, there's still like 40 something maps that I could choose from. It's insane that I'm seeing the same maps over and over and over again. I mean, I got Karelia like every other game, it feels like. Oh yeah, the goated map Wide Park, that's another one. There you go. But still, it's like 40, there's like 40 maps, even if you include the map ban. Let's say 38. Even then, I shouldn't be seeing the same map within the same hour, really. So, the infographic below shows the likelihood of not encountering the same map in playing stations of various length, measured in battles and based on modeling predictions. Before update 2.4 and after in the right, for example, for a session of 21 to 25 battles, in the likelihood of not getting duplicate maps jumps from 1% to 69%. Nice. And for more common sessions, 11 to 15 battles increase from 40% to 97%. I don't feel this is always correct. Unless I'm getting really, really unlucky. Like, within the 6 to 10, I feel like this is more than like 90% of I wouldn't get one, unless of not encountering the same map. So is green not encountering? I feel like within 6 to 10 games, I've seen the same map. Like, this is not how my experience is. Is this the equivalent of 1 battle? Or is this the equivalent of people never get the same map? Okay, I don't know if the chart, maybe I'm just stupid, but the chart doesn't really make sense to me. So within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, I've had 2, and maybe... So this is correct. This is definitely correct, and this is very correct. So maybe this is correct. Maybe this is correct. But I'll be honest, I think it heavily depends on, like, the time of day you're playing. Like, there's some days where I will genuinely get the same map, like, 1 in 5 games. Karelia. What else is there? How many? Erlenberg. You can say, like, oh, yeah, like, this amount, but then within a small amount, if you just went... So let's say you play 15 games, and then you get Ensk on game number 6, but then you also get Ensk on game number 12. You would have had... Oh, look, you've only had 2 in 12 games, but then I've also had 2 in, 4 games. You see what I mean? The chart is probably correct, but, if I feel like I'm getting the same map repeated in each one, just because it's going to go for my total, doesn't mean that it's not being repeated. Anyway, now we've finished the rant. 1 to 5 games should never see the same map after the update. Again, I don't know if this is actually in the update. With update 2.4, we will begin testing a new feature. So this is not going to be instantly active from the sounds of things. So it's just going to be updating and testing. So whether or not this actually is a thing, I don't know. I also don't know. All players on all servers will be used for the testing. We'll encounter maps with random events even with the respective game settings options is disabled. We'll encounter maps with random events even with the game settings option disabled. So even if you disable random events, you'll still get it? Is that actually a good thing? Some people's computers just die when they see random events. I mean, mine drops to sub 100 FPS, which is mental when you think about it. Imagine if you only get 60. Imagine you play on 60 FPS and you get a random event, you just crash. Good luck. Okay, waiting times may increase. So it seems that random events are just going to be enabled for everybody, even if you disable it with the next update, which is actually not a good thing for a lot of people. Anyway, after 21 to 25 games, you should basically see just a little bit more of the map within the same 6 to 10 that you would now, which is probably about 2. Sorry, I don't know what this is. Percent. Is this 25, 50, 75? I'm guessing. So about 70% of the time, you should see a unique map, a new map. 17.5. So let's say 17. So let's say in a 25 game session, 17 maps should be there. 17 new maps that you've not played on yet. The rest of them will be maps that you have. So that's not too bad. If that's the case, that's pretty good. I mean, 1 to 5, it should never ever do this, but I'm not sure if it... I hope that it counts, not 1 to 5 as in the total session. I hope it counts 1 to 5 as in the last 5 games you've played. So hopefully that's how it goes. Looking ahead, over the last several updates, matchmaking has been continuously evolving with a series of focused improvements. Some of them are immediately visible in the battle, while others affect the system and that enable future enhancements. The other changes now are on another stage in the process, but now final. So what is this? What am I reading? Testing the next set of matchmaking improvements will begin with update 2.4 on EU1, starting with the update release, followed by EU4 and NA3. NA3, I believe, is just the main NA server. They basically just said, we're going to test some stuff. I'm not telling you what it is. Shh, my secret. Okay, well, some of this was just a bit... yeah. The map rotation for me is the main one. The map rotation is the main one that I'm interested in. And I just hope that they fix it so that I don't see the same map within 5 games. If that can happen, I'll be pretty happy. And it counts even if I'm in a long session and it's game number 40. I don't want game number 45 to suddenly see the same map that I saw on game number 40. That's what I hope. But there we go. It might not.